Amir Aczel es matemático y autor de 12 libros, incluyendo el bestseller internacional El último teorema de Fermat, mismo que fue nominado al premio Los Angeles Times Book Prize. Aczel impartió matemáticas en universidades de California, Alaska, Italia y Grecia. Aceptó el puesto de profesor en Bentley College, en Massachusetts. En 2004 fue nombrado miembro de la John Simon Guggenheim Memorial Foundation y profesor visitante de Historia de la Ciencia en la Universidad Harvard.
Bienvenidos a un programa más de la Ciudad de las Ideas. La Ciudad de las Ideas, como ustedes saben, es un festival que se llevará a cabo del 6 al 8 de noviembre en la ciudad de Puebla, provocado y convocado por Poder Ciudadano, una organización ciudadana que los invita a empoderarse, a ser parte de un nuevo México, y mucho a través de ideas que nos hagan no pensar y no creer todo lo que constantemente o casualmente hemos creído y pensado. El tema de hoy es sin duda alguna uno de los más relevantes para hacernos cuestionarnos el aquí y el ahora, las probabilidades, las matemáticas, la ciencia, pero a través de un gran personaje, un gran ser humano, lo puedo decir después de haberlo entrevistado en el Hotel Charles de la ciudad de Cambridge en la Universidad de Harvard, Amir Aczel. Amir Aczel, un niño que hasta los 18 años vivió en un barco y que ha producido más de 18 libros sobre misterios matemáticos. El día de hoy vamos a hablar de uno de estos grandes libros, Chance, y tendremos una entrevista a profundidad sobre quién es Amir Aczel, detrás de los misterios de la ciencia. Amir es de las pocas personas que, además de que te mezclan el misterio con la ciencia, la ficción y la investigación de cómo escribir un buen libro en la literatura, te enseña matemáticas, divulga la ciencia, pero lo más interesante de todo es que te hace darte cuenta que no hay que creernos todo lo que pensamos. You are one of those few people that can really teach us not to believe everything we think. And I would like to talk about the book that you will talk about at the festivity of Idea City, Chance.
And that is something that's very, very important to me. When I first started writing science books with Fermat's last theorem, I knew that what I have to do is to know what I'm writing about. Somebody else told me that years later that, you know, I like to know 9 levels above the audience. And I never thought of it in that number 9, but it was very important to me to always know the material very, very well before I write anything. I actually got into a controversy about that because I was in a book festival in Seattle a few years ago, and it was televised debate also, and there were some science writers. And I said that the most important thing for me is to understand perfectly, or as perfectly as I can, what I'm writing about. And some of the people, somebody there who was a science writer without training in science, got very, very upset and attacked me. And it was in all the newspapers the next day, and actually a year later, a journalist who wrote for a newspaper said it wasn't as exciting this year as last year with a big, you know.
But why did he attack you?
Well, he said, he got upset that I said that you have to be a scientist or somebody who understands the science.
Sure.
You have to teach yourself the science. And I think he became very defensive because a lot of people write about science. We talked about one example a minute ago, without really understanding it perfectly. About chance, what I think is important about chance, my book Chance, and about chance in general, about probability, is that things are not intuitive. Our intuition is not correct. The reason is, and the same is true for quantum mechanics, for relativity in physics, and for processes in biology, for computers, for many things in the world are not intuitive. Our brain works in very specific ways. As they say in America, our brain is hardwired, like a computer that has hard wires that can't be changed, is hardwired to do certain things. Probability is not one of them, and every probability expert, many mathematicians who know probability well, would say this is very unintuitive. To give one example has to do with the Monty Hall problem, which maybe many people know about. There are 3 doors, and it was a television program. You open one door and you see a goat instead of a car. You win a car in this program. And so the question is, do you switch now, or your guess? If you guess one of the 3 and they open a 3rd door, do you switch or do you stay with what? Now the correct answer is to switch. That's very complicated to explain. It has to do with Bayes' theorem. Bayes was a reverend in England in 1751. He wrote the theorem that could reverse probabilities. This is a way our brain doesn't work in a Bayesian way, but it is true that you should switch. Now, a lot of PhDs in mathematics wrote letters complaining that the answer was not correct, but the answer was correct.
How can we apply your theory of probabilities like that I could actually find a girlfriend?
Okay.
A probability for love.
Yeah, good.
This is part of your book, Chance. In a way, please tell us.
Yes, the interesting thing about probabilities, it can be used to give you an optimal algorithm for finding...
How many dates before I fell off?
Yes, exactly.
Tell me.
So the idea is you sample. You go out on a date with a girl, one date. If you like each other, you stay together. If not, you say goodbye. And once she leaves, you never see her again. And the assumption of this model, you can never call again and say, you know, I saw you 6 months ago. It's finished.
It's lost.
So yeah, it's lost. So if you use mathematics and some idea of optimization, you can come up with a very interesting solution. And the same idea will work for finding the best dog, if you want, or the best house, or the best car. I don't know, any deal that you have to either do on the spot or not. So the idea is you have to assume beforehand, I'm going to, in the next 5 years, I want to get married or meet somebody to stay with. I'm going to meet 100 women. So you are going to date a maximum of 100 women. You want to find the best one. Now, if you think about it logically, it's not likely. Probability is not very high that the first one.
Sure.
And probability is not very high after you found, maybe after you dated 95 of them, that the last one of the last 5 will be, one of the last 5 will be the best one. So it's somewhere in between. We don't know. So the mathematics solves this problem and tells you you want to do 1 over e, which is about 37%. The idea here is a little bit from mathematics of calculus, something like that. There is some kind of a function here, and you're looking for the optimum point, the best chance. It doesn't mean it's the best, but it will improve the chances. It gives you the best chances of finding the best one.
Es algo que ocurre de forma inesperada, de forma imprevista.
¿Algún hecho que se da sin esperarlo?
Bueno, yo creo que la casualidad es la oportunidad que se presenta en la vida para cierto momento, estar en cierto momento, en cierto lugar, al momento exacto.
Son una serie de sucesos o hechos que te ocurren de repente en la vida y no le das una explicación coherente y crees que es casualidad.
La casualidad no existe. Hay una teoría que el mundo es determinístico y yo estoy de acuerdo en eso.
En ese libro usted también menciona algo de la probabilidad de en un grupo cuánta gente nace el mismo día.
Sí.
¿Puede explicarlo?
Es un problema muy interesante. Because this is where our intuition breaks down immediately, and nobody has, well, some people know it, so they know, but it doesn't agree with what we think should be correct, which is the theme of what we're talking about. Don't believe everything, and
don't believe everything you think.
Don't believe everything you think. You would think that with a group of 30 people, and let's use logic, and I will show you the logic is flawed. 30 people. And you think 30 people sitting in a room, and even smaller, 20 people.
Okay.
20 people, very small number, right? How many days are there in a year? Everybody knows there are 365, or this year 366 days because of, you know, it's a leap year. So let's say 365 days. That's a huge number, 365, but only 20 people in a room. So you think, what is the chance the 2 out of these 20 match? And you think the probability is very small. There are so many days they can go to. But when you do the mathematics, everything breaks down. With 20 people, the probability is close to 50%. And then it goes up to 30, it's already in the 90s. And that idea of the birthday problem, as it's called, solves a lot of things in life. A lot of things that have to do with probability have to do with the fact that things always bunch up in ways that we don't understand. In many ways, that idea of the 6 degrees of separation is similar. For example, you and I will talk afterwards and we'll find out we know one person in common. There are things that confuse us about that. For example, I live in Boston. If I go on an airplane and I sit next to a random person next to me, I'm a talker. So we talk, and after about an hour or 2 hours, we find out we know somebody in common. Now you say, the chance of that is minimal. How did it happen? It's a miracle. It's not a miracle at all.
That's the point. Many people could believe in, I don't know, miracles but there are probabilities because are from the same kind of social group in a way. That could be the answer?
Yes, when I can explain it actually, but I don't want to upset people because people like to believe that there is a reason, but there is a good explanation. The explanation is the following. We don't know which of the coincidence will happen. You see, there are so many possibilities for coincidences. For example, we could find out that we know somebody in common, or this person and I might find. I don't know beforehand where the coincidence will be and who will be the person in common or the experience in common. And because there's so many possibilities in our everyday lives, and of course the more advanced people are, they travel more, they do more things, they have more possibilities. The more you have possibilities, the more you have the chances improve that one of so many unknown things will coincide, will click. I believe in mathematics. This is my religion.
I can imagine.
I believe that mathematics rules the universe, so that helps me in a sense write books about mathematics and science. I truly am a believer that that's the ultimate truth. The greatest truth that we have is mathematical truth. I think that the God that I believe in is the God that created the universe, whatever force he is, and the laws of the universe are hidden from us, the same way as the laws of probability are hidden and we have to discover them and try to use them. The laws of physics are hidden.
But if there are some hidden laws,
yes,
there is nothing like probabilities. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, that's a good philosophical question, but the problem is that we don't know everything. So if we knew, once we know everything, there would be no need for probability.
It's probable for us. The likelihood is for the human.
Right. For a supreme being, there will be no dice because you know what will happen. The problem is if you get to chaos, for example, what is chaos theory? The very small change. I think people know about the butterfly in China making hurricanes in the US East Coast or in Mexico. So the idea is even a small change in something can cause a big change later. We can't measure the small change, and our mathematics is not good enough. We don't have enough computing power to know what will happen. We need probability, and in physics we need probability because quantum mechanics doesn't work without probabilities.
Sure.
Is it a limitation of our mind? Perhaps.
Yes, because there are like two ways to understand the problem, I think. So one could be, I will discover the likelihood of things given the fact that there is like a nomen, a real thing that has an explanation of everything. And the other way could be there is not an explanation. There is, everything is chance, actually. So there's nothing behind that could explain some patterns. Where are you?
I agree with you. What I worry about is that if I think in a certain way, it can be disappointing to some people.
Claro.
Because we are warm,
We need to believe.
feeling, thinking beings that are not, we're not computers. If we were computers and something happens, somebody's in an accident, and that happened in my family, somebody was in a bad accident.
Sure.
I was very, very worried, and it turned out nothing happened. And the first thing you want to say, thank God, you
Claro.
know? If you think the way I want to think, they'd say, oh, probability was, it's, in a
pretty
sense,
interesting.
it's a paradox. We become less
paradox.
human. We become less human if we think only about probability and only about science.
En teoría general, el del hombre, porque seguía por el izquierdo, pero hay excepciones, hay buenas físicas, buenas químicas, entonces depende también de muchas circunstancias.
Definitivamente, al parecer, el de los hombres. Son más calculadores.
Más matemático, siento que los dos, ¿no?
Es más matemático, yo creo que el de la mujer. Porque anda siempre buscando lo mejor, anda queriendo comprarse todo.
Sí, hay mujeres muy inteligentes matemáticas, también hombres muy inteligentes matemáticos.
Igual. A lo mejor el hombre tiene alguna tendencia que a primera, no sé, a lo mejor a primera sí tiene más habilidad en cuestiones matemáticas, pero si la mujer puede llegar a ser igual de, tener la misma habilidad para las matemáticas.
Los dos tienen la misma habilidad y la misma capacidad para esa parte.
My point of view is that women are not at all different from men in mathematics. I've known many women mathematicians, and they were among the best. My closest friend right now as a mathematician is a woman. She writes fabulous theorems and does mathematics in a way that I admire very much. I have one daughter, so of course I want to think that mathematics and science are open to women and should remain and should be open to women as much as to men.
You can mention a lot of people, but one thing in mathematics is marginal, and in economics and the other is on average.
On average, there are more men in mathematics than women.
The reason could be what you
physics.
were mentioning.
It could be that.
Could be cultural thing.
And it could be cultural. Also, many women that I know, the daughter of this good mathematician friend of mine is now going to Yale University to study, and her purpose, one of the things she wants to do is, I want to get married. So, you know, if a young woman is more interested in getting married, she may not achieve the goal. Remember also, our society is still in general not...
Machista.
Yes, machista. The men are to earn the bread, the women are to have children and stay home. Now, some societies try to get away from it, but we're not in a perfectly equal society. So we can't really evaluate whether a woman's brain is less good than a man's brain in doing mathematics. Now, I'm on a topic I can talk about for hours. There are areas of mathematics that require more imagination than, say, derivation that is purely algebraic or something like that. And women tend to have, in general, more of that imagination than men. I think that what is so amazing about human beings as compared with all the other creatures in this world is that we're curious. We want to learn about life. We want to learn about this mystery of what are we doing here? What is our purpose? Where do we come from? Where are we going? What is the meaning of everything? And that only human beings can think about it. And I think that this is what motivates me to write about science. I always look for a new mystery to address because I want to learn something about the human experience. Now, be it probability or physics, and I've actually gone a little bit into biology and evolution with my book on Teilhard de Chardin, my latest book. So I try to always address some kind of a mystery. So I think human beings in general are curious, regardless of their level of education, regardless of their level of expertise. Even people who do very simple things in everyday life are always curious about processes of nature and of what happens, whether it's love or it's about some physical problem, or how to dig something, a well in the best way, or how to find gold, or how to find some learning. So I think I always try to address this. So when people are interested in the mysteries of nature and life, this is what I'll talk about, and I hope they will come to listen.
Pues, ¿qué les pareció esta plática con Amir Aczel? Si ustedes me preguntaran qué libro les recomiendo que él haya escrito, sin duda alguna el más reconocido es El último teorema de Fermat, traducido a 31 idiomas. Pero El misterio del Aleph es una obra de arte que no solo se vuelve el favorito del propio autor, sino que nos lleva realmente a tratar de comprender algo que poca gente se ha atrevido a hablar: el infinito, pero no el infinito en potencia, el infinito de hecho. Y habla allí de las grandes paradojas y los misterios que han llevado a grandes matemáticos a cuestionarse el aquí y el ahora dentro del universo. ¿Qué opina de lo que dijo Amir Aczel, de que para realmente lograr una óptima relación hay que elegir el 37% de aquella persona o de aquella casa que nos interesa como pareja o casa para vivir? Esto de las matemáticas, ¿qué tanto realmente le hace clic o no le hace clic con lo que siempre hemos pensado? Amir Aczel va a estar del 6 al 8 de noviembre en la ciudad de Puebla. Ustedes pueden acudir a la página www.ciudadelasideas.com o al teléfono 01800 Ideas, o comprar directamente sus boletos en Ticketmaster para conocer a Amir Aczel en vivo y a todo color. Gracias. Los viernes de 6 a 6 y media de la tarde y los sábados de 9 a 9 y media de la noche, solo por Proyecto 40, Construyendo un México Libre, dialogaremos con estas mentes que están provocando al mundo.
La Ciudad de las Ideas, un festival sin precedentes, agradece el apoyo a las siguientes empresas socialmente responsables: